The main objective of this project we're doing together with True Energy is to first and foremost ensure that our EVs are charging with green energy, and secondly to make sure that we are not overloading our power system, because as an islanded power system with no subsea cables to neighboring countries, we need to balance the energy system at all times, even on a millisecond level more or less. So when we put out charging orders, when having excess renewable energy predominantly, we have to maintain the grid stability. And in order to do so, we also need to be able to control the charges. So whenever we face problems or overloads in different areas, we have to lower the charging power in these areas. And that is the main objective, the twofold objectives of this rather interesting project we're doing together with True Energy. Welcome to the Faroe Islands. Faroe Islands are a group of 18 small islands in the North Atlantic, and we are 55,000 inhabitants in the islands. And the weather regime is like that. We have like 4 natural resources, and based on that we have a vision of becoming 100% green in terms of electricity production by 2030 already. And currently we are slightly more than 50% on an annual basis. So we're getting there, and we have a tangible roadmap up toward 2030. We know exactly what to do in order to achieve this vision of ours. Well, due to our northern latitude, we have abundant resources. So back in 2014, we decided that we should go green in terms of electricity production. Due to the fact that we do not have any subsea cables to any neighboring countries, we need to balance our power system at all times, even on a millisecond level. But as I explained, that we have rather good natural resources available, we do definitely think that it's achievable. I would say the biggest challenge or risk in this vision of ours are, I would say, the summer months where we lack wind and hydro. We need some kind of storage, so we're able to store excess renewable energy in the winter months and use it in the summer. And that's where we think that energy storage, as maybe, I don't know, pumped hydro is one component, maybe store energy in batteries, EVs, and we are even thinking of maybe producing some green fuel like ammonia in the Faroe Islands that could be used in our dual fuel gensets in the winter months, in the summer months, sorry. So even though we have a clear vision of how to become green, we still need the last puzzles to so we know exactly what to do. My name is Terji Nielsen, and I've been in Sev for a bit more than 25 years. I'm heading the R&D department at Sev, so we spend the most of our time looking into what kind of different technology we should install here in the Faroes to become green by 2030. And I've been heading this department since 2016. And previously I was working as an engineer in different departments at Sev. So now I'm gonna plug in the car, and obviously I'm doing that is no problem. But you can imagine if 10,000 cars are plugged in the afternoon, that would mean a problem to the grid, because we're not able to absorb that amount of power or to produce that amount of power, and that's why it's important to us that we're able to control the charge of the cars, so we are not overloading the power system in the Faroe Islands. I would say back in the days there was no such concerns about the environment as it is today, and we were at that point in time only talking about installing wind energy and to maybe the biggest concern at that point was to get rid of the fossil fuel import due to costs mainly, I would say, not due to the environmental impact. But then the environment meant more and more, and at one point in time the EV were introduced in the globally, and I think it was back in 2009. We had a cooperation with Dong Energy at that point in time, and it was obvious to us that having a lot of EVs in the Faroe Islands would pose a problem to not only to our electrical infrastructure, but also when people come home from job or from work at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening and everybody plug in their car. That would mean a problem to them. We are not able to supply all the cars. So already from day one we were thinking that we had to do something about how to control the charging of the EVs. And that is what we have been working more or less on since that time. And now is just around. We are not just around the corner now to launch the system where we're going to control the charging of the EVs. So first we can charge when we have excess renewable energy, but secondly to make sure that we are not overloading the power system when we charge the cars. So we can control the different chargers in the different load areas when people charge their cars, predominantly at home at night. What we see now is an exponential growth in the penetration of EVs. We have slightly more than 2,000 EVs currently, but in total numbers we have 28,000 personal cars. So it can pick up really fast, and that's why we think it's important to introduce the control of the EVs better sooner than later, so people get used to it. Now we're heading to the second biggest island, Eysturoy. We're driving through a rather new subsea tunnel between the two biggest islands. We anticipated what we normally say traditional electricity consumption, but also on top of that, what kind of energy would be needed in the transformation of the transport or the car fleet. And the energy use for heating in homes, which is now predominantly done by oil burners in each and every house. But also in terms of heat pumps, we see an exponential growth in sales. So people are transforming or changing their heat system in the homes to electric heating in terms of heat pumps, and to EVs as well. And that we have anticipated in our energy projections in the upcoming years. Now we're heading for the wind park called Nesheia. It was erected back in 2012 with five turbines. Obviously, from an electrical point of view, we would like to have a more flat energy consumption or electricity consumption throughout the day. And we have a few possibilities there. One is to change or to control the charging of the EVs so they're not charged in the daytime, more in the night hours. But also we would like to, or there will be an introduction of hourly prices reflecting the cost of production. So whenever we have cheap energy, renewable energy versus or like cheap energy, we would like maybe mainly the industry to change their behavior so they use as much as possible when it's cheap, and that is so we could exploit as much as possible of the renewable energy and minimize the need for fossil fuel production. and that, I guess, within maybe approximately a year, this new price or new tariff will be introduced. Sev is owned by all the Faroese municipalities, and our ambition is to have the electricity cost as low as possible. And so we try to build out the cheapest energy resources first. That is by far wind energy, but due to the natural resources, wind is not available throughout the whole year. So we need to have other resources as well. We have, for instance, we have hydro. We have a long track record in hydro since 1921. It's a fantastic resource, but also during summer months, it's so dry that there is not that much of hydro available in the summer. And then we have to install some solar panels. Solar panels is a bit expensive, and due to the low capacity factor in the Faroes, they produce in the summer months, not so much in the winter, because we have a lot of dark hours in the winter. But again, when we have 3 or 4 different resources, by putting them all together, we will have the possibility to have at least a sustainable energy production throughout the year. But then the cost is calculated have been so far on an annual basis. So whenever we have at the end of the year, the energy or the electricity cost for next year is fixed. As with a fixed energy or electricity price, there's no motivation for people to change their behavior whenever they charge their cars or heat their houses or whatever. But by introducing a flexible or hourly price, that is one measure to help people to change their energy usage, but also to encourage people to charge. For instance, when the energy is cheap, and to do so, we need some, I would say, intelligent system, because people, they're not going out to plug in their car whenever there's a cheap hour in production. So that's why we need a clever system that can take care of that without bothering the customer too much, at least. It's based on renewable energy, predominantly wind, but more on whenever we have excess or available renewable energy, the energy cost will be low and green as well. The current strategy is like when you have a charger, home charger from Sev, and we're able to control the charging of the EVs, you have a rebate for charging. Actually, there are 2 rebates, one for charging EVs and one for heating houses with heat pumps. And one of the you need to be able to, or the charger need to be able to be controllable in order to have this rebate, because, as I said, for many years we have had this idea that eventually we need to control the charge of the EVs to avoid congestions in the grid. And that's where we are today. We don't have any specific targets, but our ambition is to level out the energy usage throughout the day, so we don't have this variability to have peak load at 6 o'clock in the evening and very low loads in the evenings or in the night. It would be better to have a more flat energy consumption throughout the day. Due to the high average wind speed in the Faroe Islands, we have we say normally abundance of wind, and that is really a cheap energy resource So that is in our roadmap up toward 2030. Wind power will play a very important role. So we will install quite a lot more wind turbines in the islands. We have around 60 megawatt of wind power currently, and we should have maybe 150, 160 megawatt in total. First of all, we have a long track record in hydro since 1921, but all our hydropower plants are connected with the reservoirs, so there's a storage component in that as well. So we can move actually the hydro production as we would like to, until at least the reservoirs are empty. Yeah? So that's really important. Hydro and wind and solar are bigger than fossil fuel on an annual basis. So very often you have either a lot of sun, not that much hydro, and vice versa. But we have all these different resources, which make it a bit unique, I would say. The sea transport in between the islands, I mean, small vessels and ferries could easily be transformed to electric. The bigger boats that sails too far away, they're not able to be battery supplied, so they need to have some green fuel, and that's why I think most of us are thinking of ammonia as the preferred green fuel. Don't know, it's a perfect match, but maybe the best match currently is that if you have ammonia or methanol. For producing methanol, you need a CO2 emission or a CO2 source, which we don't have. Ammonia you can produce out of nitrogen and hydrogen, and we can produce hydrogen from our excess wind, and we can even use the excess heat from this production of from the electrolysis, and this to use it in district heating. And then one more thing is that when you produce hydrogen, you can say the leftover is oxygen, but oxygen could be sold to the salmon farming industry, increasing the business case. Well, I think the learnings from what we do here in the Faroe Islands are that we are thinking of the energy system in a more holistic way, that we take both heating and transport into the consideration when we plan the energy future in the islands. And when we, in this vision of ours becoming green by 2030, we definitely take into account EVs and heating as well. So that is something, and then not only having a holistic approach, but also have concrete projects in terms of EVs. We've seen already from day one, since I think 2009 something, that if we just let go, people charge their cars whenever they need it, we will definitely face some grid issues in the near future. But this project, we have been talking to the EV users since day one that we need to control the charging somehow. Otherwise, and as the company is set up owned by all the municipalities, so everybody would be punished if Sev needed to go out and reinforce the whole grid because everybody would like to charge their cars at 4 o'clock. So if we could distribute the charging to night hours and when we have excess renewable energy, etc., we can lower the investment in the grid at one point in time, or at overall, I would say, but definitely also to dispatch charging orders when we have excess renewable energy. And yeah, one thing is maybe to talk about it. Another thing is to have concrete projects. That is exactly what we're doing here together with True Energy, to be sure that the cars are charging whenever we have green energy predominantly, and not making any problems in the grid.